Hey guys, so I thought I would put together the review for the Swiss Cup final. I'm just going to go through bits and pieces on different positions, people, on what we did well, but more importantly on where we can improve. So I'll start off just at the start of the footage that we can see. So the very first part that we stuff up in here is that we forget which middle should be pocket. So Chris normally plays pocket, Kev I think would play dominant, and Ali would play link in this position, in this particular play. And what happens is we get the middles mixed up. So Kevin should be actually at right middle, Chris should be at left middle, so he can be pocket, sitting in the pocket for the eye defense. And what happens is Chris moves up because he's dominant, but then Kevin also pushes up, and what we find here, we have two up. In this situation, if this happens, you have to stay two up. I would just send one up quickly and rush them. As you can see, they're still 15, 20, probably 10, so about 10, 12 meters out roughly. So even if you make the touch around here, you can still come pretty much straight back. If they drive in and they end up catching both of our middles off guard, this is where we shut from our links and wingers. You both shut in together, back in on the ball, and just cut the ball off from going wide. But what Chris does here is he drops out, he stops moving forward. You can see the referee here warning him, move forward, you got to keep pushing forward, and Chris just dawdles around the spot. He's not really pushing forward and just tracking. Ref pins him. Okay, so then what happens after this is that Chris identifies quickly once they take the tap, I'm in the wrong position. He comes to middle, pushes Kev forward and says, you were meant to be there, you idiot. Next play. Everyone's in pretty good body position at the moment. Ali and Manu would actually be tracking maybe a little bit more and looking to drop out. I wouldn't be so static on where we are here. But Eva's body position's good, Kevin's body position's good, maybe Chris's body position's good. Everyone's body position's good at the moment. Jess is fine as well. And what happens is Kev has a brain explosion, decides to touch with the opposite hand. Okay, it doesn't create anything in this particular play, but get used to learning to touch with the right hand. We've got to be disciplined and structured on our techniques. Also, if we just watch Ali and Manu in this particular play, I would start dropping now, and you're both just sitting there still. You're not doing anything but just being offside. Drop early, and the way to drop is to drop back on an angle. So you're not dropping straight back, so it's obvious, but you're dropping on an angle. It's only now that you start dropping. It's too late. You got to drop earlier, okay? And you can see Ali's quite slow in getting back. They don't put any pressure on us, which is good, but get used to being in the habit. The next good play that we're trying to achieve is this here. This is the perfect scenario for try line defense. One up, five back. Okay, this is the perfect scenario for a try line defense. Geezers don't work us that hard. Basically, we got five in the pocket. Chris is in a very good position, in line with the roll ball. Okay, pretty much in line with his own man or girl, Jen in this particular case. But one play where we do stuff up here is Manu. If you just watch Manu's head, she gets caught ball watching. Look at her, still watching the ball, still watching the ball. Only then does she look to see where the winger is. Just due to poor execution by Benny here in the red shorts. If you watch, he takes a touch, bit slow on the dump. As you can see, by the time he's got the ball back, Ali's almost back. If he'd got a quick roll ball and got the technique right in the dump, he would have put Manu under a lot of pressure. As you can see, Manu's still offside and still dropping back, so dropping back way too late. But it's Benny's pass here, it becomes like a bubble floated pass. If it was flat and straight, I think we would have been in trouble, but watch the pass, it's a floater. And it's because he can't pass from left to right. It needed to be a rocket pass to put pressure under Manu. Manu, you got to make sure whoever's on that wing, make sure you don't get caught ball watching. Just run straight to your winger. Hit your winger and trust the inside defenders, okay? So I'm going to touch base on this next play. I'm going to talk about Ali and Kevin. So at the moment, this is a good push-up. It's a good push-up on the line. But watch Ali just here at link, okay? He's up in line with Kev. So that means he's just as much offside. We've got two, just because he's not in the ruck making the touch. If he's in line with the offside player, it's as good as being in the ruck, okay, from an attacking perspective. Not at any stage does he drop out, okay? Even if he does pop inside to this guy, I think he's close enough for Kevin to take both. Ali needs to drop out here, and Manu also needs to drop out. You can see we're all offside. Now what happens here is they work a 32, okay, or a short ball off the two middles. The middle comes in short, which we call a 32. Because both of these two are up, for me, I would engage Chris. Okay, so if I was Benoit, I would come in, I'd see they're both up, I would engage Chris and pop short to the rapper. And the rapper would put a lot of pressure on Ali because Ali would be offside. Roll through this slowly, they go out wide, both Link and Middle are up. As you can see, Ali's still offside, a long way offside, so is Manu. Chris isn't. Okay, Kevin is, but Eva's still got that part covered, which is good. Chris will come in and take the ball, Eva's going to stay on Link. Which means now there's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side versus 1 Chris, 2 Ali, 3 Manu. If Benny stops and engages Chris and plays short to the rapper, Ali's got no chance there. Okay, you can see this big gap here. Alright, Ali's got no chance to hit. It's a female, so he might have been able to catch, but I'd still think he would still struggle here. And the reason why we struggle and put pressure on ourselves is because of this moment here. Okay, we're pushing up for no reason. Okay, there's no reason for these two to be there. You know the touch is going to be made. You can see what they're doing. They're not setting up for anything on this side. Drop out. If you drop out, you restrict the pressure here. Because if he flicks or plays short, you two are in big trouble here. When we go to Mallorca, when we go to Strasbourg, and when we start entering UK tournaments for next year, this stuff happens. You're going to get exposed. You're going to play against other people that know touch, that know where the overlap is, and you're going to get exposed. So get used to playing in your structures and get used to knowing when to move up, when to drop out. So I'm just going to talk about our box drive. I'm going to go over examples on our box drive throughout this whole game because it was pretty ordinary. What's the most important thing when we drive, guys? To dump for a half. Okay, you've got to dump for a half. All right. Eva here, see space. Okay, where's her half? I don't know where she's dumping for Kevin or not. For me, I don't think she is. Even in saying that, Kevin should still read it and tuck in behind her because she's made good yards. Okay, she's made good yards. For me, to make it more obvious, not just picking on Eva, but for anybody that runs like this, know where your halves are. One outside, one inside. So as you're running, last minute, come across and straighten up and dump. You might lose 1 meter, 2 meter, but you lose that in time anyway. You watch what Kevin does here. Dump, no half, goes back in, comes back out. We want continuity, fluency, okay? For me, Eva should of course look, but I blame Kevin on this. He should be tucking in behind, knowing that she's going to take the touch. So as we roll through here, we see the second. We make good yards. So now we're at halfway for the second. We will make the attacking line maximum within the next 2 touches, which to me gives me 2 touches to attack and score a try. Whatever happens here, Chris picks up and scoots and loses complacency and composure of where we are. 3rd touch. And we've turned over 1-0. We've turned over a 1-0 opportunity. Okay? So it's very important, guys. It's great to play what's in front of us. It's great to keep driving and moving forward. But there is no excuse to scoot other than on the 4th or 5th. Okay? If you're going to scoot because we're subbing and we feel we've got momentum, give straight away back to Kevin and let him drive again. Don't try and create space. Don't try and look for extra rounds, trying to make a break. Play back and play the percentages again. Let Kevin drive down here or cut back in and drive back into the middles. You two could go in and work a quickie by yourselves. You don't need 6 players on the field to beat 2. You just need 2 on 2. Okay? So a little bit more composure here. 3rd touch and we put the ball down. Okay? Super no-no. The next part I want to talk about is our defense. Okay? Where do you reckon they're going to drive here? That's right, to the box, okay? So Manu should be in line with the roll ball. Benetti should be in between these two here. Matt should be right across. I think this is Chris should be dropping out, and I'd push Aisling up. Yeah, and I'd have Chris, Matt, and Jess getting ready for the second touch. Because at the moment, you watch these 3 on this side. Benetti, Manu, Matt don't engage, but they're still moving forward and yet not even doing anything. Moving forward and across, now they're offside on the touch. So they're not even in the position to shoot and jam in for the second touch. And what happens? They expose Chris. They expose Aisling. Create the overlap. Second touch, and they've made 3/4 of the field. They went from here to here in 2 touches. All because we were just lazy out wide. We just think they're not coming to us. We'll just dawdle back. Got to be ruthless, guys. I know it was the last game of the day, but I could also imagine the speed of the tournament. I'm not predicting that it would have been that fast, so we didn't have a lot of reserves, but energy should have been there. For me, this is a mental thing. It's got nothing to do with physicality. It's purely mental and being switched on. What's my job? What's my next job? Now they're there for 2 and in a very good position to attack. 4 touches to attack. Should score on this, and they don't. I find a lot when I watch the geezers, they really struggle to isolate who the attacking player should be. So I just want to stop it here and roll back, okay? When you play against good sides, you need to try and restrict their time, okay? What happens is we're holding, which was good. Jen comes in, we hold, getting ready to drop out, okay, which is great. We've got pretty much 3 in the line here, so we have to get ready to drop out. And what happens is Jen realizes nothing's on. She drops back. At this point here is when Chris should engage and sprint. Okay, should just sprint and engage. Even if it was the pocket, and let's say Ollie had the ball, he was going back, I would sprint and engage. Okay, for 2 reasons. They lose the ruck. They're not going forward in the ruck, so they're going to lose the ruck. They're going to be getting touched going backwards, so they're going to be roughly about 8, 9, 10 meters out, which means you can come straight back. There's no need for a pulling corner or giving them the chance to create an overlap. And thirdly, there'll be no half, okay? But what happens is, Jen drops out, and we give her time to set something up. If we play against the French side and they did this with their execution, look at that. Jess is maybe the only one who's got any chance of sort of saving anything here. But if they executed 21 properly here, we've got Aisling, Chris, and Matt all out of position. Totally gone. All because we didn't capitalize on our opportunity. Here, go, hit her, bang, touch, no half. Or she offloads and we smash her, no half. Or she offloads to Ollie, we smash him, no half. Whatever she's doing running backwards, if she offloads or passes the problem on, there's a problem. And we have to make sure we capitalize on that. So when people start running back like that, move up and hammer them. Okay? Now because we don't, they get a chance on us to execute a 21. Good touch by Aisling. Jess loses the ruck. And it's a slow half, slow pass. Now even though they still had a slow and bad execution on that, Jen still creates a 4-on-3. Jen's person defender is actually Chris. Aisling has the link. Jess has Jess, the winger. So now Jen actually engages with Matt. But because these 4 players, and you'll see the winger in a minute, don't straighten up the attack. You need to straighten up the attack when you've created an overlap. Once you've engaged an opposition's player that's not yours, so in this case, instead of Jen engaging Chris, she engages Matt, that's when the attack, you can crab, but then straighten. And what it does is it'll square the defense up. You now have straight runners and you'll score tries. And by her crabbing across, see the angle, she's come around this way, it allows Matt to engage as well as slide off. It allows Benetti to engage, slide off. Manu to engage, but then slide off on the defense. And that's exactly what happens. Everyone just slides off. Benetti engages, slides off. Manu holds, Benetti engages, Manu slides off. So a 4-on-3 became nothing. That's poor execution. And so same again. What's the most important thing when we drive? Dump for Benetti. Oops, no, I didn't dump for anybody. It's just a super no-no, guys. I'm going to show you later when Ben Powell comes on how vital this is and how much it just kills us. Okay, by stepping to the left and taking an extra 1 meter instead of stepping to the right and having a quick flow with Chris coming in short and 3 people offside, we now have no half. The defense and Jen and everyone pretty much gets back, and Ollie has a good chance to come in and hit us. Okay, next part, Benetti stops on the drive. We lose momentum again. Now Chris has to dawdle, we're slowing down. We try to beat, skip, no half again. Touch for 3. You can see our whole momentum, everything stops. This here, Shepherd. You can't run around behind your players. Okay, anytime you run around behind your player like this, it's a Shepherd. Comes back, touch there for 4. We're on our halfway line for 4. Matty identifies, 5th and last. It's time to throw the ball around. Now we do well in this situation, okay? We play ad hoc and we get down by their try line, which is great. But we shouldn't be in that position. We should be having more structured plays by their try line by having a better drive. By having a poor drive, you end up playing free flow and guessing. You make the tries harder. Get the flow and structure right on the drive, you'll come away, you're coming back and you're subbing again at the halfway line instead of lining up to make another set of 6. That's the difference. That's the difference in scoring a try and not scoring a try. In this whole game, Geezers had great opportunities to score, didn't know how to score. We had no opportunities to score and scored off every one of the freestyle play or tap-off moves that we did. So two contrary types of plays. And if I was to back or play on a team on a percentage basis on which team would normally win, I'd back the Geezers on winning in this way that they played more than what we did. Attacking so far out and not having structured moves near the try line. So I'm going to say same again. Where do you reckon they're going to go? Probably to the box. So these outside 3, maybe even these outside 2, Matt and Kev, push up and in. These 3 drop back. Okay? And let's watch what happens. The 3 that they're about to drive to engages on the first. This for me makes no sense because now Ali's offside. Okay, now they're going to bring Eva and Ali into the ruck. Now we've got 2 into the ruck. We've got no one shooting up or pistoning, nothing. We've got these 3 out wide coming back, so if they hit this wide runner, he's going to make easy yards. They go 3, again attacking Eva and Ali. Third touch and they're down on our try line again. Pretty much getting ready to attack. And this is where Geezers break down a lot. Okay, so let's watch our drive again. That should have been a changeover. It was a roll ball, but in saying this, I want us to be aware of this as well, okay? We must think run forward and run forward first, okay? We've got to think drive. If we do think pass, that's okay as well, but I want the execution and everything to be right. So, that should have been a knock on. So, if we look here, we look how much space there is out here versus these 2. 3 on 2, 4 on 2 we could pretty much expose. Don't be scared to throw the ball around. Okay, that's good. Here. Okay, I would have gone early to Kev, which Matt kind of does, but he crabs across, same as what the way Geezers did against us in attack. He crabs across and allows Benny to slide off. But the angles we run here are all wrong. First of all, Matt should run straight and straighten up. That would engage Benny in. Okay? Instead, Matty crabs across, which look at Benny's hips, allows him to slide off. If Matty engages in, it turns Benny in, then offloads, you've got 2 on 1. Kev could probably run around the wing and score the full length. But instead, Benny slides off, and now the angles that Kevin runs are straight. The angle that Kevin should be running is towards the box. You want to bring these defenders as far across as possible. Engage this winger, create a 2 on 1, whatever, but don't run straight and make the touch easy, okay? That's fine, maybe you're correct this time. No, he goes straight again. You want to be pushing out to this sideline. Get this defense zigzagging the whole way back down. At the moment, by running straight, these guys can just drop back into the pocket. 3. Intensity on the drives is terrible. Okay, Manu passes. And we're dawdling here. Okay, go into the drive. Bang. Into the drive again. Benetti sets up space, which is okay. But now what we do right here, and we talked about it at core training a few weeks ago, when you go into a quickie, you watch the feet. If the feet are straight back, go straight back at the defender. If the feet are on an angle, run on an angle with the defender. Basically, you want to go with the defender as far as possible and closest to the line. If the defender's going straight, go straight back with the defender, last minute, then take him or her on the outside. If we watch what Kevin does here, okay, he stumps and splits. Jen starts the angle of wanting to pull corner, which is good. Okay? Kevin gets the ball back and Benny's still offside. And what Kevin does is he straightens up and runs directly straight at Jen. She now, instead of continuing to slide, knows that Benny hasn't got it covered. Okay? Kevin exposes this last minute, takes it back on the outside. And it's that one split second where Jen has to change weight and change momentum. There. She turns in, she starts running backwards instead of sideways and across. She misses him by a meter. And that's the difference. If she continued pulling corner, Kevin still would have scored, but it wouldn't have been Jen's fault. It would have been Benoit's fault. So either way, Kevin had them in trouble. And why he had them in trouble? If you watch Benoit engages, Jen should never engage at link here. Benoit had him covered. And what Jen does is she engages. By engaging, there's 2 in the touch. There was no need for her to engage. Ben had him covered. Jen should have stayed out. Now there's no quickie. The only option would have been Benoit scooting. Okay? So not only have we attacked well, but the defense was a bad decision, a poor decision as well. Okay? But still a good try. Against good English teams, we need to be careful about this as well. So what you'll see is Eva losing the ruck. Okay? And what happens is, it's all about Eva's angles and defensive angles. Okay? If you see where she is at the moment, is she wanting to take Ollie? No, she's wanting to take Jess, but still watching the ball. She sees Jess, but look at her straighten. Okay? Which gives Jess a bit of time to step her. And when I say straighten, it's only for a few steps. You've got to keep going on the angle, drive Jess out. So what she should have done is stayed in this channel here and pushed Jess out more so that she could chase. But what Eva does is she comes out, she straightens, and then almost gets stepped. There. Only 2 steps, and then ends up having to reach to make the touch. Okay, because Eva wants to go forward. What Eva should have done in this particular case is lined her up. Once she's got her covered, here, start sliding back on this angle to cover her, to touch with the left hand. Okay, there's another example a bit later on where Eva doesn't move forward when she should. In this particular case, she moves forward but has Jess covered and continues to go forward, and look how far she loses the ruck. In this particular situation, it doesn't matter. But if the winger comes in tight half and they dump, Ollie's got a very easy 2-on-1. Ali's way out of position. Matt's in no man's position. So we need to be aware of that. Okay. So let's talk about composure and playing when we're driving again. Again, what's the most important thing when we drive? We want to drive and make sure we dump for a half. So we have a turnover here. Okay. Let's count the touches. Okay, this is the first coming. Move to better space. That's good. 1. Okay, guys shot up. Held off. 2. Probably not as flowing as what I would like, but still okay. 3. Maddie decides to scoot. 3rd touch. Not even an overlap. Throws it forward and long, and we lose the ball on the 3rd. No composure whatsoever. Not counting the touches. Not looking where we are on the field. Not having a plan. Okay? We want to get down by the yellow line, red line, set up for a quickie, score. Get down by the yellow, red line, set up for a quickie, get stopped. Perfect. You stopped us, but now we've got your defense working. Got to play more smart, a lot smarter than what we did in this final. Okay? When the experienced players aren't there, you guys that have been around for a while need to step up and get this message out. You need to know it in your own heads. Get down there, play the percentages, play the quickies. Don't try and score from anywhere on the field. Work the defense, make them panic, make them make decisions. Wait for them to make a mistake. Okay? More composure. So same again, guys. Where do you think they're going to go? You reckon they're going to run up the middle of the field? I don't think so. I reckon there's a good chance they'll probably go to their box. So Kevin, Manu, first touch. Instead, we've got our right 3 making the touch. They're going that way, so these 3 are all going to be offside. And it's exactly what happens. Okay, Aisling makes the touch. 3rd touch, and we're all backpedaling. And now they're in an attacking position again. Composure, look at them set up. Ben setting up, gets her into the gap, tries to engage the middle, steps off his left foot. Driving again. Now, when I spoke about driving before, I want to explain how someone like Experience that we'll be playing against in Mallorca and in Strasbourg, you'll get experienced players like Ben. Ben here is a very experienced player from Australia and also high performance coach for the UK sides. So he knows the game inside out. He knows it very well. And what happens here, you watch him in defence, he picks us off like nothing, and we're not even looking out for him. Okay? So we drive, Maddie gets off to a good start and gets a good dump for Manu. So who's the next runner? Okay? And what I want you to watch here, if we just scrub back a bit, I want you to watch Ben. Ben's here next to the referee. Watch him just drop back. He knows he's not going, but he's getting ready to piston on the next one. Not even a metre Kev makes. 3rd touch, not even a metre. and we almost dropped the ball because we're panicked. Again, he's pushing up again. We're there for 4. Okay, now just have a look at our players. We've got Jess covering 3/4 of the field on her own, and we've got 5 players in here on the channel. Okay, so that's 4. That for me is, if we look at the Piston defense, we talk about being tight as a Piston. Watch the Geezers winger. So they make the touch. Jen, I think, or whoever is that other link, shoots up, and look how far away the winger is. And this leaves space. Ben's offside. He's still getting back onside. And this leaves space. We expose the space. We now create space down the outside, which helps us get away a little bit. Dummy, and you're in. Oh yeah, unlucky. So we got out of that a little bit, but try and understand and see how Ben prepares and the intensity. It's all about mental. It's about mental attitude, and that's something we don't have. Okay, so it's a turnover. Where do you think they're going? To the box again, I betcha. Here they go out wide. Who's making the first few touches? The people closest to their box. What does that mean? They're going to be offside. They're going to drive them, and now they're going to make easy yards. They have a free ball to be able to go wide because we're all getting back onside. Got to get that part right. Look at this. Driving, dump split, and they score. Wrong way. Wrong way. Yeah, the Geezers just struggle in attack. They don't have the experience in attack. Now I want to explain something else here. Benetti, if you move 2 steps to the left, Manu, move 2 more steps to the left, you've got a lot of space out here. Their Piston comes up and shoots. We get caught in a blinkered approach here. This is all we see in between these lines. We need to open up these blinkers a bit and look between here. Draw in the defender, offload, move the ball to better space. Be a bit smarter. We could be at the box for 1. Instead, we're trying to beat 1 or 2, slow half. They Piston us again, dumping for 2. We're making no yards. Dawdling onto the ball, no intensity. Good, we moved it to space finally. 3. Stop there. Okay. So now what happens is we have a defender here, Jess. Okay, this is Geezer's Jess. She's come up. She's normally playing link. She was playing at that position, right middle. Our defensive right middle, Geezer's left middle, attacking left middle. She's come up and she didn't make the touch, and we got the ball into this space here. Okay, and watch what happens after this play. I want you to watch Jess. Just here, this player here. Watch what she does and what happens after this play. Look where she is. She's out of play. Still out of play. Way out of play. She's trying to get back into her position. The winger has to come in because she's not there. Try. Okay, so we'd sit there and say, oh, that was a great scoot by Chris. That was excellent work by the Lakers, blah, blah, blah. It was. Don't get me wrong. It was great work. But a lot of tries come off the back of bad defensive reads. How do bad defensive reads happen? You need to make the defense make a choice. So when I talk about composure, knowing where you are on the field, make sure you know I'm here for 2. I'm going to have 3 touches to attack these guys on the line. That is the primary decision. The primary position. You want them to make a decision. 6 on 5. What's your choice? What are you going to do? We've got structures. We've got moves. What are you going to do to make a choice? And what happened here was Jess made a choice and didn't execute it right. Overcommitted on the touch. Was out of play. Look at that, struggling out of play here. Still out of position. The winger has to come in to cover her. Leaves Jess open. It's great work by our Jess to follow the play and keep going. So basically, if you look at Chris and you look how far apart Ollie and Ben are, for me, there's no need for Kevin to be here. Matt is out of position, yes, but Kevin is way out of position. Also, Jess. The try isn't Jess's fault, but Jess as a winger should be up around about here where the mouse is, supporting the link. Because if they get a quick pass now out to the girl, let's say Ben throws a rocket, it's going to be 2 on 1. By Jess being here, when they do that move, they throw the pass out, Jess can engage and shut that play down. Okay, so the winger also has to be here. But at the moment, Kevin's way out of position. Okay, there's no need for him to be up and be engaged. By doing so, he gets caught out. Look, you can see he's in the ruck. Chris can cover both over that distance. There's no need for you to be there. Secondly, Matt is out of position. He should be in line with the dump. Okay, not to the left, not to the right, in line with the dump as much as possible. Okay, because if they dump split and he goes to take Chris on the outside, he can scoot and cover. Or if Ollie turns and twists and comes back this way, Matt can also cover. But at the moment what happens is Matt's dropping back, as you can see, to Matt's right. Now he squares up there. Now he tries to cover. And what ends up happening is he runs along the line instead of off the line. Okay, because he's had to turn, chase, and now adapt due to speed. If he was there, he could push forward and make the decision a lot more quicker. Kevin's in the way, and because of Matt not being in the proposition, he couldn't actually come forward and hit Ben. Okay, I don't blame Jess at all for that. She has two minds, two options. Kevin might have made the touch, but he was offside. So for me, I blame Kev first for being in the wrong position, and then I blame Matt for probably not being in a tighter position in pocket. So same again, we're going to watch Matt as a pocket. Stop there. So the dump's here and Matt's here. You've got to be in line with the dump. Okay? No matter where we are on the field, no matter where the ball is, you've got to be where the ball is. Everyone's got to be where the ball is. Even Eva and again Manu, always getting caught up. Manu, you need to drop back. You can't be caught up. These two are pushing up so hard. See Eva dropping back, which is good. Manu's dawdling back. You've got to sprint back, Manu. Sprint back so you can come back in to stop a pass if it comes back, okay? But in this particular play, again, look where Matt is. Benetti engages and Ali's there as well. We've got two in the touch. We deserve to be scored against. Benetti, there's no need for you to be in the touch. Ali had him covered. Okay, remember the dominant toucher. If they're not working the dominant toucher, 1 up, 5 back. The fact that we've engaged two people are offside. The fact that Matty's out of position, we deserve to have the try scored against us. Second most important thing is learning to touch with the proper hand. Watch Benetti when he makes the touch, he turns his back. There, touch with the wrong hand, he's got his back facing right there. He has no idea where Ollie's going, and what happens is Benetti ends up running not a hard enough angle because he doesn't know where Ollie is, and as you can see here, gets left for dead. Okay, so as a winger as well, I would read it for quickie and come in and shut, leave the two open. For me, they know they're going to try and score, but that's just experience, game time, and knowing when to come in, when not to come in. But again, pocket was out of position, 2 in the touch, link eye engaged when shouldn't have. That was very, very bad defense. So again, what we can see here is that they're setting up for a 32. Okay, they've switched and they're setting up for a 32. Maybe. Look where Matty is. Matty sprints back to get in position to cover. Okay, but Ben Powell decides to go the other way. So we have to, for me, yes, you need to be in line with the roll ball as quickly as possible, but watch Ben. Okay, watch this runner. And look at that there, he's changed angles before the pass has even happened. So we need to be aware, we know where we need to be, but there's no point being there if the ball's not going to be there. So we also need to keep an eye on this runner. Okay, it's a bit like when we work a shutdown defense. We need to defend our gap, but we also need to watch where our opposition player is as well and adjust. We don't need to rush and close a gap down if our opposition player's gone the other way. Okay, so our gap is about structure. Our opposition player is about adapting to what's coming in front of us and playing heads up. What you can see here, Ben Powell goes the other way and leaves Matt here for dead. Geezers again have created a 3-on-2. When you create an overlap, you must run straight. Okay, for you guys that are doing these 2-on-1 drills, 3-on-2 drills at training, or create an overlap during your game, once you've engaged an opposition player that isn't yours, straighten up. Okay, don't keep crabbing across. And what Geezers do here, what Ben does here, he crabs, and bombs an absolute 3-on-2. So I speak about before about having key players and gun players that you play against. You've got to learn how they play. There hasn't been one time in this game where Ben Powell hasn't stepped off his left foot or gone to his right hand side. There's a play later on that comes up soon where he actually does go to the left hand side of the field but steps off his left foot still. He spins around. The guy just steps off his left all day. So if he steps off his left foot, you defend on his right shoulder. And for those that haven't played tackle before or any form of contact, you maybe wouldn't understand that or maybe don't understand the benefits of that. But when you have to tackle someone, you can't afford to give them half a meter because you'll miss the tackle all day. You need to make sure your feet and their feet are close when the tackle's being made. And what you'll find here again is Ben will go into half. And which way does he go? To his right. steps off his left and goes to his right. When players play like this, and when you get more experience, you play against good teams from the UK and from when we play in Strasbourg and Mallorca this year, you've got to identify a player's strengths and what their favourites are. And normally, 99% of the times I've found, when a player loves going one way, it's because that's which way they like passing. So what you try and do is you restrict him going that way, make him go the other way, and you can jam him in defence because he doesn't like passing the other way. Ben can pass right to left as well, but it's not his preferred side. Okay, he prefers to go left to right all day. Throughout this whole game, and maybe if you watched other Zurich games, he's off his left foot all day. For me, he's very easy to defend against. I'd have a defensive pattern, I'd jam in on my right side defence, and I'd defend him on his right hand shoulder. So now we're going to talk about our box drive again. Okay, it's 6-4, there's 5 minutes to go. The objective here, what do you reckon the objective would be? For me, dump the ball here on the red line down the bottom. I don't care if you have to do U and I's the whole way down. I don't care if you're just doing a 3-man drive. Okay, dump the ball down on this red line down here. Okay, if you have to throw it wide, if you want to keep the ball, whatever it is, hold the ball, get down and dump the ball here on the red line. Okay, this is the first touch. Good, we moved it to space. No half. So we lose the play. That means the defense puts pressure on us. They're now hitting us. We force a pass down. I blame Matt for this for sure. Okay, it's a dumb pass. He should have played what's in front of him. But I blame Ali just as much because we've put ourselves under pressure. Understand the importance, guys. Okay, see these little 1% of things that I talk about. Understand how important, how critical they are. When I attack, when I put plays together on the attacking line, very rarely do I never come back to the halfway to sub. I make sure we get over the try line and score. I make sure I create every opportunity. Why? I do the little 1% of things right. And what we've done here, what's the most important thing when we drive? We dump for a half. And what's happened here? Just that's a brain explosion, yeah? Now what happens? We're there for one. That's okay, let's start again. Drive hard. Force a mistake. We turn the ball over for 2. So now instead of us driving down and turn the ball over, or possibly even scoring, and being ahead 7-4 for the last 5 minutes, 7-4, Geezers come on, they're 3 tries behind, they have to just throw the ball around now and hope they make the mistakes. We score again, 8-4, they're 4 tries behind, they come on, 3 minutes to go, throw the ball around, make mistakes. We capitalize, 9-4. We end up having a grand final that blows out to 9-4, 10-4, 10-5. And people go, oh, that was no indication of the game, it was close. No, it was an indication of the game. We worked, we gritted you, we got into the tug of war, we played our percentages, and we played field position, and we did all the 1% of things right. But instead, we go and do the opposite. We lose the ball on the first, we lose the ball on the second, we're scooting from half on the third, and we don't keep our foot on their heads when we got the opportunity. We keep giving them hope, we keep giving them belief, we keep letting them back in the game, and we keep losing momentum. We've got to get the 1% of things right, guys, okay? Super, super vital. We play against an England side, against the Geezers in Frankfurt, we nearly lost it because of this. We had roughly about 30% of possession in attack, and that's why we only won by 1 try. Make it 50-50, and you run away with the game, no problems at all. You run away with it even more, you probably end up getting more than 50-50 because they play catch-up. But at the moment, they don't need to play catch-up. They only need to score 2 tries in 5 minutes. That's easy. We've got to get the 1%ers right, guys. And I blame individuals and mental mindset. You've got to be stronger mentally. Be disciplined. Stick to the structures. So now what happens is they're now attacking us again. We're now under pressure. So let's look at this play now, okay? They get ready to set up for a 43. Where the middle dumps for middle, so this is more like a Joani setup, but it's on the wrong side because the link's there. Okay, so the middle and link again, both in the touch. Ben should have went out earlier, but he didn't. But look at the position that Matt's in as a pocket. Okay, watch where the dump's made. Look where Matt is. So now there, missed pause. Sorry. So now what you'll see is Matt is now in a position to push off both feet. There. He can now go left or right, depending which way Ben goes. If I was playing against Ben, I'd say, I know which way you're going, bro. You're always going to step off your left. So I'm going that way. Okay, so you got nothing back on the right. 5th and last. And now Ben again steps off the left and spins around. His left foot's his favourite foot to step off. But I want to talk about our defence here. I want to talk about Eva and Manu, how they created nothing for Geezers into a possibility of a try for Geezers. Okay, so Eva and Manu here at Lincoln wing, and what happens is they push forward and then they drop back. And by dropping back, they opened up the space, they open up the angle of the gap for Ben. So if you could imagine, if we look at just the geometrics of a straight line, okay, if we have a straight line here, okay, your angle of a gap is very small. There's hardly no gaps in a straight line if you had defenders here, okay? Your gaps are small. As soon as these two defenders drop out, your angle now opens, okay? So your gaps, your angle and your gaps become bigger. You've got more of an angle to duck in behind players, etc., etc. So it's important in any form of defence in rugby, you keep a straight line. The straighter the line, the smaller the gaps. The staggered the line, the bigger the gaps, okay? So now what happens is if you watch Eva and Manu at the back here, they push forward, but as soon as Ben starts attacking them, they both drop back. And this opens up space. Where Ben is here, okay, let's just have a look. He's roughly about here. If we just roll back, okay, and if we stop the play there, if Eva and Manu push forward now, they would have been on that dark green line, I'd say. Okay, they would be roughly on that dark green line. Okay, and they keep pushing forward again, they'd be maybe on the edge, maybe getting ready to hold, but they'd be in the middle of the dark green line. Ben would have been touched there. Okay, changeover. Instead, he gets into the space and almost puts the winger in for a try. Okay, so a few mistakes here. One, the girls drop back when they should be pushing forward. Okay, go up with Ali, keep a straight line. Second, no matter how much space this guy creates, Manu, you stay on your winger. Don't get caught ball watching. Run straight to your winger. Okay, and stay on your winger. By you staying in, if Ali hadn't got the touch, that's a try. Now, do I blame the defence? Yes, I would have blamed the defence, but I would have come back and blamed Ali for dumping with no half. So just understand, guys, if you're playing against a Creedy or a Daniel or an Alex or a Chris, those opportunities are going to be turned into tries, or because Ali didn't dump for a half. It's not because Eva and Manu not only didn't move up, but more importantly, we come back by 2 plays, we're turning the ball over by the second touch. Get the 1%ers right. Okay, our ball again. 4 minutes on the clock. What's the objective? Get down to the red line. Turn the ball over and make them come back. We don't have to score. We're 2 up. Just get down there, turn the ball over, make them come back out. Great drive. We're on the halfway nearly for 1. Excellent. Moves it to space. Well done. 2. Jess didn't come in. Matt maybe didn't drag hard enough, but Jess didn't come in a half. And we've stopped. And we stopped running all of a sudden. 3. 4 into space. This is great work. And then over the mark. That's the difference. If we get down there, we maybe would have scored if Manu caught it. But just again, the little 1%ers, okay? Got to get those little things right. We end up turning over a try. We could have gone 7-4 up. We're changing. They're now panicking and they're trying to do things. Instead, they just need to ruck it up now. Ruck it up. Get down there. No panic. We've still got 3 minutes. We just have to put 1 more try on. Put 1 more and we can score. And they're working it up. Now, this is where experience and composure is missed. Ollie comes in to take a touch. Ben scoots from half, steps off his left, slips, touch. Are you okay? I slipped over, I hit my head. No worries. Give me the ball. But no one says give me the ball. He was half, guys. Why wasn't it a changeover? Okay? Let's watch. He comes in. He dumps. He scoots. He slips. Touch. Changeover. Why weren't the wingers? Why weren't the links? Why weren't the middles picking the ball up, getting ready for a quick turnover? Roll ball, dump. Roll ball, dump. But no, he rolls the ball from scooting from half. Wait. Again, lack of experience, lack of composure, lack of not being in the game. We've got to be in the game every minute, guys, every second. See what's going on. Know the rules. Because it's little things like that that could cost you. Imagine if they scored off the last. They'd have 2 minutes to score 1 more try to take it into a drop-off. It's little things like that we've got to be awake to. But you know what? We got away with it. We held it. That's okay. We'll get another good drive like we did last time. And we'll get down there for 6. Okay, good. Let's have good intensity. Oh no, we're dawdling. We're passing the problem. 1, out crabbing. That's okay. That's not bad. Moving to space. 2, drop ball. Again, 1%er, guys. 1%er. Just the intensity, the ownership. This is my drive. This is my ruck. I'm going to win the ruck. I'm going to do what I can to get down there. We've got to drive hard. Even if you're out on your legs, just drive straight and hard. Do a 3-man drive. It doesn't matter. You don't need to go to a box drive when there's only 2 subs on the box. Yeah? So we need to be thinking. Again, we switch off in defense. We just made a mistake. And you can see, I don't know whether we're tired, whether we're switching off. We knew we were 2 up. We knew we had the game. I don't know. But still, no excuse, okay? If a French side does this against us and works at 21, we're in big trouble. At the moment, Chris is up. They bring Aisling up. So that means 2 people offside. But that's okay. The pocket will get him. Oh no, the pocket's over here. Again, poor execution by Geezers. Look at that. 2 up in the ruck. I'm scoring all day on that. 2 up in the ruck. Maddie's not in position. We're scoring all day. That's an easy try, huh? Just poor execution. Wrong gap there by Ollie. Great defense by Manu. So I want to say, guys, like overall, the positive out of all of that is, I mean, you'd be sitting there watching thinking, wow, we played really well and we did well. We won the Swiss Cup and we were Swiss champions. Yes, exactly right. So the positive out of that is that it's great to see a side when you don't play to the best of your ability and still come away with the win. That shows signs of a very good side. But we already know that we're a very good side. But how do we become better? And it's more about focusing on getting the 1%ers right, getting the box drive right, getting our driving right off our line. Our intensity is just absolutely rubbish, and we need to, and I'm not talking about just this Swiss Cup game, I'm talking about overall in general. We really need to fix this up and get it moving and get it working harder. But you know what? That's the good thing about having core trainings. We can work on this stuff and get it right. For me, it's all about intensity. If we get the intensity right, get the mindset right, we need to have this mindset that we need to be ruthless in our structures. If we're ruthless in our structures, we'll find the games can become a lot easier. Okay, we may win games, but we can win them easier. Okay, and that's what we're trying to strive towards. So, hope you enjoy this interview. Hope you enjoy this review, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to answer them. Enjoy it. Talk soon. Bye bye.